Hi there. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Julie DiMatteo from thepaperpixie.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. And in this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this really cute treat holder. It almost looks like a little bit of a handbag. And it's featuring the Back-to-Back Blooms stamp set, as well as the Happy Thoughts stamp set with this beautiful free celebration paper called Flower and Field. It's free with a $50 purchase through February 28th of 2021. And I've got a little Velcro closure here, and it opens up to reveal a little pocket for those delicious Biscoff cookies. Now, lots of other things will fit in here. This is a 1/2 inch wide in this direction and 3 inches wide in this direction. This is actually pretty easy to resize the width of this center section if you want to put something else in here. But during my live broadcast this week, we tried putting in some Ghirardelli squares. Those work really well with their wrappers on. I'm sure you can find some other treats to fit in here, maybe some tea bags. It's just a really fun little treat holder. I love the way this kind of opens here. I've done several different treat holders like this that have sort of the same opening, but I just love this, and it's one of my go-to sort of styles of treat bag because it's so easy to make. The other thing I love about this one is it only uses a 6 by 6 inch piece of designer series paper. So if you're using 12 by 12, you can get 4 of these out of one sheet. A great way to use up your designer series paper, because we all know we all have a stash of this paper that we sure could use up. And what a great way to give for a random act of kindness or just a little pick-me-up. During my live broadcast this week, I also made a coordinating card. How cute would this be to go together to give to someone you love? I love this sentiment. It also comes from Happy Thoughts. Just wanted to send some happy thoughts your way. Perfect card during the midst of this global pandemic. But I just love this pop of black on these beautiful colors. So let me show you how easy it is to make. We're going to start with a piece of 6 inch by 6 inch designer series paper. This is the Flower and Field designer series paper. This one is not a directional pattern, but if you did have a directional pattern, you want to start out with your pattern going up and down, sort of north and south. And then you're going to score at 1.5 inches from each side. So I'm just going to rotate it 180 degrees and score at 1.5 again. Easy to remember, one measurement. Then I'm going to rotate it 1/4 of a turn, and we're going to score this at 2 3/4. I'm going to rotate it 180 and repeat that again, 2 3/4. Now, if you wanted to adjust the width of this, again, I mentioned this is only a 1/2 inch wide section here, you would simply just reduce that score line. So let's say you wanted to put something in here that's 3/4 of an inch wide, you would want to score it 2 5/8. Rotate it 2 5/8, and it doesn't adjust the height of the treat holder all that much, but it's just an easy way to resize if you need to. So let me just repeat. On one side we did 1.5, 1.5, then we turned it 1/4 turn and we did 2 3/4 and 2 3/4. The next thing I'm going to do is fold and burnish on all the score lines. And then I'm going to bring in the template here. We're actually going to create these diagonal score lines, but we can do that manually. I've got my 1/2 inch sections here on the right and left, and I'm going to fold those in sort of like a barn door there. Now I'm going to come down to the lower of the horizontal score lines here, and I want to line up that score line with this folded edge. And by doing so, what we're going to end up doing is putting that diagonal score line right where we want it to go. Sometimes it's easy to either put your fingernail right here in that corner or use your bone folder. And then you're just going to take your time and line up again that score line with the folded edge. Come in and burnish that diagonal score line, and look what we've got there. Okay. So we're going to repeat that on the 3 remaining areas. All right, so we've done that now. And if we kind of hold this paper down here, when we fold it like this, you get that sort of mouth or pocket looking shape there. But that is just so cool. I love how that works. You don't need adhesive to keep this closed. It'll actually just kind of keep itself closed anyways. But I do like to add adhesive just to kind of keep things in place. So I'm going to take liquid multi-purpose glue, and I'm going to place it just in these 4 sort of outside corner sections. I've got that diagonal edge to it. And if you put glue on all of them sort of at the same time, you can then just fold this up and take care of them all at once. Now what we can do is just fold this in sort of like a barn door again. And just press everything into place. You can come in with your bone folder and burnish just to make sure that that glue is nice and stuck down. There we go. So that's the main mechanics of this. Now let's go ahead and dress this up. All right, I'm bringing in the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I've got a scrap piece of basic black, and then I'm gonna be using the Painted Labels dies. I'm actually gonna grab these 2 leaves, as well as this larger piece. And what I love about this one is it not only cuts, but it also does a little embossed edge around it. So we should be able to run these all through at the same time. So we've got our black leaves, and then look how awesome that embossing is right around the edge. I love that look. Now I'm gonna bring back the Simply Scored here. We're gonna score this down the center. Now this isn't quite 2 inches wide, so I just shifted over to the right, maybe about a 1/16 of an inch. So I'm about a 1/16 of an inch off this side here. And then I'm just gonna score right at the 1 inch mark, and that should be pretty darn close to the center of that. I'm gonna go ahead and fold. Then I'm gonna come in and burnish, and then let's go ahead and heat emboss this piece for our little treat holder. We're gonna be using the Happy Thoughts stamp set and the sentiment thank you. I'm gonna stamp that in Versamark ink and then sprinkle it with white Stampin' Emboss powder. And then I'm gonna go ahead and heat emboss that with my heat tool. I love that. There's nothing like white heat embossing on black cardstock. How beautiful and classy is that? All right, now we're gonna adhere this to the top of our treat holder. I'm just gonna use liquid glue. I'm gonna put that on the back of the side that doesn't have the heat embossing. And then I'm gonna line up this top edge. Now, a quick tip here, if there's one side of the paper that you like better than the other, make sure that you're adhering this part to the back. And the liquid glue is going to help you sort of slide things into place. I'm going just underneath the score line so that that score line won't get in the way when we go to fold this down. Okay, just like that. Now, we're gonna wiggle our little Biscoff cookies in there. You do kind of have to have this mostly closed to get them to fit. They're a bit of a tight fit. Just kind of have to get that wrapper out of the way. And then they'll slide right in there. Okay, now I've got my 5/8 of an inch thin clear fasteners from Velcro. I sandwich the hooks and the loops together when I get the package. I think it comes in a box of 75, but then they're always ready to go for my projects. I've got these linked on my favorites page at thepaperpixie.com/favorites. And I'm pulling the backing off the clear side of that Velcro dot. We're gonna place that on the back of our little flap here. Then I'll remove the backing from the white side. And then what we can do is just fold this into place, get it lined up just before you press it down. Then I like to open it and just reinforce that Velcro dot there. Oh, that couldn't be cuter, but it needs a flower, don't you think? So let's go ahead and do that. So for this, we're going to use the Back-to-Back Blooms stamp set. This is one of our reversible stamps, which means you can stamp on both sides of the stamp set itself. One will give you this line image and the other will give you a solid image. We're just going to use this line image and we're going to stamp it in Memento Tuxedo Black ink right onto Flirty Flamingo. It gives this really great pop of color. I just love the way that stamp set looks. So I'm going to come in with my paper snips and fussy cut around the flower. I love the way that looks. Taking a cue from the designer series paper, all of these flowers have black leaves. So that's where the black leaves from the Painted Labels dies comes from. And I'm just going to layer those by just putting a little bit of glue towards the stem here of the leaves. And then just layering them strategically underneath the Flirty Flamingo flower. Then I'm just going to add 4 dimensionals to pop that up on the front of our treat holder. And then finally, I'm grabbing a large rhinestone basic jewel to pop that in the center of the flower for a little bit of bling. So there is our Biscoff Cookies treat holder featuring the Back-to-Back Blooms stamp set, the Happy Thoughts stamp set, and the Flower and Field designer series paper. You can also find the coordinating card on my blog as well at thepaperpixie.com. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss my next video. If you're interested in purchasing any of the Stampin' Up! Products I used today, they'll be linked in the description. And I'll also include a link to my detailed blog post with all project measurements, details, and a picture of the template. I'd love to have you come visit me at thepaperpixie.com, where I post projects every weekday to inspire you. And if you don't want to miss a thing, you can subscribe to receive blog updates via email, and you'll receive an email each time I publish a new post. You can shop with me anytime at thepaperpixie.com/shop. And if you're interested in a discount on your Stampin' Up! Purchases, the starter kit is the ultimate bundle, and it's a great way to fill your wish list for less. You can purchase the starter kit at thepaperpixie.com/join, and I'd love to welcome you to the Stampin' Up! Family and my team of Paper Pixies. If you don't already have a demonstrator and you'd like free copies of our current catalogs, you can submit a catalog request at thepaperpixie.com/happymail. And if you give this project a try, I'd love to see what you made, so feel free to share it on social media with the hashtag #PaperPixie, and I'll be sure to check it out. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. Take care. Bye.